A seized parking brake can leave you stranded when the emergency brake won't release. This issue is more common than you might think, but there's no need to panic. Stuck brakes have specific causes that you can identify. By understanding why parking brakes freeze up and knowing how to manually disengage them, you'll be better prepared if it happens to you. In this video, we will discuss the most common causes of jammed parking brakes and how to release it at home. But just before we start, please ensure you've subscribed to the channel. Corrosion. Rust is the main culprit behind stuck parking brakes. Over time, the parking brake cable, mechanism, or linkage can corrode, making it unusable. This problem is particularly common in vehicles exposed to northern climates where road salt is frequently used. If the parking brake isn't regularly used, the issue can worsen, increasing the chances of it seizing up. Rigid application. It's surprising, but applying too much force when setting the parking brake, whether using a foot pedal or hand lever, can actually jam it. A moderate amount of pressure is all that's needed for a secure application. Excessive force can stretch the parking brake cable or bind its terminal linkage, leading to complications that make the brake inoperable. Using the right amount of force prevents these issues. Malfunctioning wheel cylinder. In vehicles with drum brakes, a stuck emergency brake can sometimes be caused by the rear wheel cylinder. This issue is similar to a seized brake caliper but works differently. Instead of the caliper failing to release from the brake rotor, the wheel cylinder fails to release from the brake shoe. This can make the emergency brake inoperable and needs to be fixed to ensure the system functions correctly. Malfunctioning brake caliper. The parking brake system works with the rear brakes to engage and release them. If the brake caliper gets stuck or doesn't release properly, it can lead to a stuck parking brake. One possible reason is a frozen or seized caliper piston. This piston applies pressure to the brake pads, which press against the rotor to slow down or stop the car. If the piston is stuck, the brake pads may stay in contact with the rotor, even when the parking brake is disengaged. Another cause could be a faulty caliper slide pin. This pin helps the caliper move freely and apply pressure evenly to the brake pads. If the slide pin isn't properly lubricated or is damaged, it can cause the caliper to stick and prevent the parking brake from releasing fully. Regular maintenance can help avoid these issues. Freezing weather. Cold weather often leads to problems with parking brakes. In northern climates, the parking brake can freeze in place if left on overnight or for a long time. This is especially likely if the vehicle has been used in wet conditions before being parked with the brake engaged. When this happens, it's necessary to thaw the frozen brake linkage before continuing to use the vehicle. How to release a stuck emergency brake. If your parking brake gets frozen, applying heat can help loosen it. Sometimes simply letting your car idle for a while generates enough exhaust heat to solve the problem. For faster results, you can use a propane torch to direct heat at the frozen area carefully. If the issue is due to corrosion, pumping the hydraulic brakes repeatedly can sometimes help. If that doesn't work, you might need to try some mechanical solutions. Spraying white lithium grease or penetrating oil on the brake cable and applying pressure to it can be effective. In more extreme cases, you may need to manually release the parking brake by pulling on the cable with vice grips near where it connects to the linkage, or prying it from its retainer. If you've tried warming up your car or tapping the wheel and the parking brake still won't release, it's best to seek professional help. Calling a tow truck to take your car to a mechanic is a safer choice than trying to force it and risking damage. Sometimes a frozen parking brake needs expert attention, regardless of your DIY skills.